Hello friends, in this tutorial I am going to discuss about HCL Java interview questions and answers. So this is based on Java, Spring Boot and microservices. So coming to the questions. So first of all, interview is started with directly from OOPS concepts. So what are OOPS concepts? I replied, OOPS concepts are majorly three: encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance. Apart from this, we have abstraction, class, and objects. These are also part of our inheritance. So then he asked, what is encapsulation? Encapsulation means wrapping up data member and member functions. So finding related data to related function, that is called encapsulation. We can achieve encapsulation by class. So then he asked, if class A and class A has method A and class B also has function A. Both A and B class have function A. By mistake I have written function B. So which polymorphism it is? So I asked, is there any relationship between A and B? So he told there is no relationship between A and B. So this is not a polymorphism. Third question: what type of JDBC drivers are? So there are four types of JDBC driver. I replied type 1, type 2, type 3 and type 4. Then he asked me to elaborate it. So please go to Google and study about the JDBC driver. I was not that much aware that time. So I have applied only four types of driver because a long back I studied them. So question 4, what is difference between statement and prepared statement? So the statement and prepared statement, statement okay, how I replied, uh, statements compile the query and execute the statement at runtime. In the case of prepared statement, it has pre-compiled query. So prepared statement is faster than the statement, and we can execute multiple statement by using prepared statement. Apart from that, in the case of security, prepared statement safe than the statement because statement causes SQL injection problem. So like this I have replied. Fifth question, what is the difference between array list and vector? So array list is faster than the vector. Why? Array list is not thread safe, vector is thread safe. In multi-threaded environment you should use vector. So because all the methods of vector are synchronized, so they are slower. They allow only one thread at a time. In the case of array list, it is not synchronized, so multiple thread can act, and so it is not safe than the vector. So they have their advantage and disadvantages. What is the difference between list and set? So list allow duplicate value, instead of that set doesn't allow duplicate values or duplicate objects. What is the difference between comparable and comparator? So comparable, if we want to sort our in collection, if we want to sort our list of objects by their properties, like we have employee class and we want to sort by the salary, so we can use comparable and comparator both. But in the case of comparable, we need to modify the source code of our class. Suppose if we have class that is available in some vendor jar file, so how will we able to change the class source code? So that time we can use comparator. Like this I have to reply. Apart from that, comparable has compare to method and it accept only one object. Comparator has a compare method that accept two objects to compare. So if you want to compare with different fields, so we should use comparator. For single field we can use comparable. How to sort an array list? To sort an array list, we have collections.sort method available. We have to pass collection.sort and our list. And if it is custom, then we have to implement comparable interface in our class. How to synchronize array list? To synchronize array list, we have collection.synchronize list method available, and after that, if you want to perform some operation, then we have to put it into the synchronize block. What is a load factor of HAZMAP? That is 0.75. What is rehashing? Suppose our HAZMAP reaches to its limit. Suppose its size is 16 and it reaches around 12, so it will increase its size by 75%. So that is the process. It's called rehashing. It increases their size. What is immutable or immutability? So immutable means the object, we cannot change the content of that particular object once we initialize. So we cannot modify it. So in Java, string, class and apart from all the wrapper class are immutable. What if I do new string? In that case, what happens? Two objects will be created, one in heap memory, another one is in the string constant pool. And after that, what happened when we create s.concat? So what happened in that case? One more object will be created and our s point to that particular object, and all available object will be able for the garbage collection. What is microservice architecture? Microservice architecture, a huge task divided into the small services. So there we have REST endpoints to access these services, and these services can communicate to each other by calling each other. So there we have a different design pattern to implement for controlling the web, controlling the whether user is authorized or not. So we have API gateway at the time of calling our microservices. So we have front or proxy, that is API gateway or Joule API gateway we have used. Apart from that, to communicate each other, they can call each other. So there might be some fallback, there might be some chance to some of the microservices are not working properly or some down. So then that case we have to implement another circuit breaker design pattern. So like this I replied. So how to create microservice? To create microservice, we can use Spring Boot application. That is very easy. In Spring Boot, it is very easy to implement microservice architecture, and we have to create endpoints of our microservice. Microservice have its own database, and we can write card operation or any operation we want to perform there. How to test endpoint, test REST endpoints? To test REST endpoint, we have third-party tools, that is Postman. Apart from this, we can use Swagger as well. Apart from this, you can use any REST client to consume their consume your REST endpoints. How to write Hibernate Pojo class? So there is a way in NetBeans and Eclipse as well for creating a Pojo by using reverse engineering from our database. So it will create all the Pojo in our package, in our Java package. It's related to our tables. So each table mapped with each Java class. Apart from that, we can use manually, we can define Pojo class by using @entity annotation. So above the class we have to define @entity, and below we have to in the class we have to define ID, whatever the primary key we are using, whatever the strategy we are using, what are our relationship with other tables. So we can define there one to many, many to one. These are the annotations available in Hibernate. What is cache? How many types of cache available? So there are two types of cache available: first level cache and second level cache. What is caching? Caching is something like if we are performing same operation again and again. So instead of hitting database every time, we should store these values in our cache so that we need not to go to the database side. So performance will increase in that case. So that is caching. So in Hibernate, two types of caching techniques available. That is first level and second level. First level is by default enabled. It is session level, and second level cache we need to configure. How many beans required to connect with 3 databases? So in our configuration file in Spring Boot application, we have to define 3 data source there. So we require 3 data source or 3 beans to connect with 3 databases. So what are the things you are caching? Generally we are caching the data. How to get session factory object? So there is configuration class. By using configuration class object, we can get session configuration.get session factory object there, and from session factory we can get session object. So what is the difference between session and session factory? So session factory session factory is a application level, and session is particular operation level, we can say. So we have to open the session and perform operation, and then we have to close the session. That's why it support only first level cache, session level only. So if you want to implement second level cache, then we have to implement on session factory. How to stable one-to-many relationship? How to do bidirectional mapping? So to stable relationship one to many, we should use one to many annotation on our class. Suppose we have two classes, uh, employee and address. Employee has a list of address, so we have to define an address, and bidirectional we have to use list of employees, those who have that particular address. What is the REST stands for? REST stands for representational state transfer. Which protocol REST uses? REST uses HTTP protocol. What is state here in REST? Actually, REST works on the HTTP protocol that is stateless, means there is no relationship between subsequent request. So state means something that is related to data that you know that is the request coming from known source or not. So then he asked what is idempotent. So idempotent, for each request it will return generate the same result, that is called idempotent. So get and put, these are the verbs of HTTP are idempotent. Post is not idempotent, it creates new resource. What is API gateway? API gateway API gateway works as a proxy for our entire microservices architecture. First, it works as a proxy. Each and every request coming to API gateway, then it will route to other microservices. So there we can write our logic like authentication and authorization, whether the user is authenticated or not. So like this API gateway works. What is circuit breaker? Suppose we have n number of microservices, and in this microservice we have chain of communication, like first microservice communicate to second communicated to third, and third communicated to fourth. So in that case, what happens if in middle third microservice is not working, or it's down, something happened wrong. So what happens if you call first microservice to communicate with fourth, and you want result with fourth? So in that case your entire microservice architecture will down. So in that case we can do a circuit breaker design pattern we can implement by using histories. There we can write fallback methods, and this fallback methods, suppose our service is down, then it will return that particular result. How to secure microservices endpoint? To secure microservice endpoint, we can write Spring security logic, authentication and authorization, whether the user is authenticated or not. So we have used JWT token. First we are getting a request from the client for username and password, then along with the response in header we are passing one token. So each and every time client has to pass that token in header. In every request we need to add our token. So that is then we have filter to check whether the user has valid token or not. So like this we can implement security. Apart from that, we can provide SSL and TLS for secure communication, so no one can know what is our data. So he asked about JEE design pattern. So I remember two design pattern, that is MBC is also a JEE design pattern. Apart from that, front controller is used in dispatcher servlet. Like this I have replied, but one thing I want to mention here, yeah, you can go to Google and improve your answer. There are lot of chance to improve this answer, but I explained. So if you find better answer, so please comment me, so that we can improve our knowledge as well. But I created this interview like this. In between I explained some topics to the interviewer also in detail. It will take around 1 hour to complete this interview, but I have concluded this in less time. Please search each and every question on Google and answer yourself. Try to practice these answers, so it will help out you to crack any other interview, like uh, most of the company asking such type of questions. Okay, thank you.